You're tuned to Russ McClellan and Friends on the real estate show Home Sweet Home. Let's get back to Russ.
Hey, welcome back to Home Sweet Home with Russ McClellan, Connor Stevens, and Mason McClellan, my son. Mason, ex-Marine. You're never really an ex-Marine, I hear. You're always a Marine.
Yep.
Yeah. So tell me why. I remember this. When you were growing up, I found it the other day because I'm going through all the storage, mom and dad, all the storage units stuff. And there was a little piece of paper when you were in the third grade. It asked the kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? And most people were doing I remember this, and I talked to your mom about this too, and she remembers it the same. They wanted to be firemen or football player or something like that. They had three choices, and yours said in third grade handwriting, Marine, Marine, Marine.
Yeah.
So what do you think that was from your grandpa being in the Korean War, or what do you think that was from?
Probably that early. It was probably just grandpa, and then we have cousins and stuff that were all in, and I think the respect that we all had for the military and the family, I think that kind of drove it from when I was that young, and then eventually.
Chris and Kyle both served in Iraq, proudly. So that's my sister's sons, my nephews. Yeah, that makes sense. So where do you see yourself? You're working at Van Doren right now?
Yes.
So where do you see yourself, or what does that entail? Because you were essentially, tell me what you did in the Marine Corps.
I was an avionics technician on the MB-22 at Osprey.
Right,
so
that's the helicopter that turns into a plane.
Yeah.
Carry about 20 grunts, right, or Navy SEALs or whatever.
Yeah, about
into combat.
Yeah.
And so that kind of sets you up for a job at Van Doren, and what is it that you do there?
I do a couple different things there. So I do some electrical work with them, and then I build some panels for them, and then I also do some sizer technician stuff, like on the compact sizers. If anyone that works in sheds, they'll know what that is. If anyone doesn't, then they won't know that what it is. But
yeah, so like a warehouse or assembly lines, that kind of equipment that goes all over the world, does the sizing of the apples or pears or cherries or whatever.
Yeah.
And you've been doing that. You've been out of the Marine Corps about 6-7 months, so you got that job right away. And programming electrician, it's kind of set you up. And when you went in the Marine Corps, I remember you went into reconnaissance, so you did some additional training. Other than boot camp, right? You went through rifleman school, boot camp, which is pretty normal, correct?
So there's boot camp, the 13 weeks of boot camp, and then you go to combat training. It's either infantry training if you're going into infantry, or it's combat training if you're going into a non-infantry MOS or job. And then so I did that, and then right after combat training, I went over to recon school, and I was there until I got hurt, and then they reassigned me.
Yeah, so you got hurt in high school, too. You broke your ankle in a couple places, dislocated your ankle. You were out for a whole year. You faced some adversity.
Yeah, me and Connor actually both broke the same ankle in the same sport, so he was the same year, too.
You're just trying to be like each other. Who did it first?
I did.
Okay, so
yeah,
you're the original
sense.
break.
Yeah.
You're just a copycat break. I got it.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So where's Mason going to be in 5 years? And it's not a trick question because I don't even know where I'm going to be in 5 years, right? I mean, even though I've done the same thing for 3 decades, life is changing, right? And one of the things I love about you facing adversity like you did is that you overcome it. And I think I'm curious with both of you. I look at the younger generation maybe with a prejudice that like this. My dad and your grandpa and your dad, Connor, were especially your grandpa and my dad, they were tougher people. Like, I think just generally speaking, people were tougher. You can't imagine people saying, I'd like a gluten-free biscuit on the trail, right? Like, that's probably not something they said. They're like, oh.
Not often.
Yeah, you don't feel good? Well, we're going to leave you on the trail because we're moseying on, and we're worried about other problems. So do you feel kids are just softer already? Like, you're 23, 24 years old?
I'd say as an overall, probably. But I think there's some outliers out there. When you grow up in small town kids are usually out in the dirt, messing around, I think if you compared someone from like Waterville and then someone from downtown Bothell, they're probably going to be,
or Los Angeles or
Miami,
or
like
New York City.
So, just wherever you're surrounded by, I think has a big deal to do with it.
Yeah. And so growing up in real estate, you heard me give a few speeches to you probably.
Yeah, a couple.
Tell me what that was like.
Well, going back from practices and games and like sports games, I'd heard about the economy every day. I heard the supply and demand spiel about 1,000,000 times before I was 13. So, I mean, I really had it down growing up. Talking about real estate, was never even in real estate.
Yeah, so you kind of got dad who said, get your butt out there and work and don't eat lunch and don't drink water because you got to pee too much. You won't get enough work done. To me, talking about, the economy, here's where you are, here's where you need to be. What's one thing you can do today to get where you want to be? What's one thing you can stop doing today to get where you want to be? Constantly reevaluating. So it's unique to see you guys now, and very proud of both of you. And I know you're all going to have great futures. Now, Connor, you have an actuarial scientist degree, and I don't know, for people who don't know what that is, that's if I can describe it, I think it's where you're the guy that determines what my insurance rates are going to be and what the probabilities of me killing somebody at 15 or something.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, and that's a wild mathematical, that's a high degree.
Yes.
It's not an easy thing to get. No. Especially for guys like me that take pre-calc twice. It's probably not what I should do. So now you're an entrepreneur, right? And when I said earlier in this show that I hadn't had a job since 1986, that's what I meant, because I've been self-employed since then. I've been bankrupt. I've been wealthy. I've been bankrupt, wealthy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this crazy thing, and you got to have this persistence to get there. So you just opened a cool business, which is something you've been working in for other people for a while, right? Sunrise Watercraft Rentals.
Yes.
And what's the game plan there?
I bought a pontoon boat, and I'm renting that out on Lake Chelan. And I plan to grow in the future, but starting off small. And I've worked in the industry for the past 8 years.
Right. So in summertime, and then you went to school at Central.
Yes.
You were wakeboarding, and so that's being on the water has just been part of your programming.
Yeah. Born and raised.
Yeah. Right. So sunrisewatercraftrentals.com is the website. And, one of the things that's, what would be the most, if you had to, what are the top 2 challenges in that business from your 8 years experience?
Most likely dealing with harsh customers is one of them, and keeping them happy. And then you obviously have the breakdowns and the damages, I'd say, keeping... That's your assets when they go out of commission for a while. That's
right. I bet that's difficult. A high insurance game.
Yes.
Like as an actual scientist, you're probably trying to figure out ways to get that down.
Oh, most definitely.
That's probably a degree that would help you in every business, actually. Understanding probabilities. What I remember from statistics is just the basic stuff. When you flip a coin 49 times and you get heads 49 times, what are the odds of the 50th time being heads? And how many people go 50-50 or 100% is going to, this time it's going to be
Yep.
You probably are pretty good at roulette too, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So when you're, would you say it's important to figure out systems? Because systems in real estate, if you're going to scale something like I had 10, 15 people at the most for most of my career. Now in the last 3 years, we went to 80 agents, multiple locations. So what worked for me at 10 isn't going to work for me at 80.
Yeah.
And what's working for me at 80 isn't going to work for me at 200 necessarily if I keep growing. So as you've watched other people do it and learned from maybe some of their mistakes, I bet is that something you're thinking about as you're getting ready to scale?
Yes, most definitely. I can see there's at each different level, there's different systems you got to work with and change and adapt to. And I thought about obviously got to trial and error. Yeah,
one of the things I did in real estate wrong was we call it the FU of real estate, follow up.
Yeah.
Because nobody does it. It's like we spend most of our time trying to get new customers instead of working our sphere. And really, if a guy rents a jet ski or rents a boat from you 1 year, the odds are, if they had a good experience, they probably will again.
Yes.
But I can tell you this statistic that'll blow your mind in real estate. 78% of the people say if they've used a realtor the first time that they would use the same realtor, and only 12% do.
Wow.
That's because of the FU of real estate. Because 5 years later, they don't have the top of mind, so when they come back to town, it's my little nugget for you is to just stay in contact with them with a contact management program.
All right.
Know their birthdays, get their birthdays when they sign up, and then put them in it. You can do it all online now with different programs called CRM programs that will touch them for you.
Yeah.
With technology, right? So you have a pontoon boat. And I bet it is frustrating when you say this is the go button, this is the stop button, and when they come 5 feet from their little boat or jet ski and they instead of hitting the stop button or slow down button, they hit the go button and crash into the lake.
Speed right up.
Speed right up.
A time or two.
How many times have you had to jump out of the way of some dude doing 60 miles an hour?
Plenty.
And you just want to drown them right there on the spot. You're like, what do you not understand? So that's exciting. I mean, I bet is it as a young man, 24 years old, opening a business? Hey, are you afraid? Are you confident? How are you feeling right now?
Having experience in the industry gives a little bit of confidence, and then my dad being an entrepreneur, I like the lifestyle, see the sacrifices and stuff he goes through, and see all his challenges, and definitely nervous, but I always keep my head up and taking each every opportunity as I can.
Yeah, well, we're failing our way through life, whether we know it or not, right?
Exactly.
And just not giving up and being persistent really is the key. And, being an entrepreneur is hard. People think it's easy. It's not. You're every department. You're the marketing department, management department, accounting department. When you're a small business, don't have an assistant, you are the assistant. I mean, there's a lot there. But if you're looking to rent a pontoon boat and or just meet a cool guy from Chelan, call Connor. I'm going to give you the number, 509-679-4073, or go online, sunsetwatercraftrentals.com. Give him a call, have some fun this summer. Hey, guys, thanks a million. I appreciate it. Mason, I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of both of you. Mason McClellan, Connor Stevens, thanks for coming on our show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, peace out.